Hey guys, it's Limitless coming back at you again. Going over my branded deck profile today. So let's just get right into it. So of course we have branded all the new Ishizu cards, as well as the classic Albaz and Despia cards, and a few of the Bestial Dragons. The Bestial Dragons aren't the main focus of this deck, but they definitely help facilitate the game plan of this deck, as well as having cards like Serenir, if I pronounce that right, where if it gets sent to the graveyard, you'll be able to send any branded card. This can send the trap, and it's also really good in the first turns when you're milling a lot. You can send a trap and add any of these back, or you have any of these in the grave, any of the branded spells, and then you can send a trap with this. So you kind of just send what you need in that case. So that's really really nice. So yeah, so let's just get right into it. So first off, we're playing 3 Sheeran. It's the best one, specials and self mills 3. 2 Merly. We don't want to have too many normal summons. We only have 4, but our whole deck's purpose is to search out Tragedy. So search out and mill Tragedy and send to the graveyard to get its effect. So with that being said, we do only have 4 normal summons, but we're gonna be searching those normal summons a lot more than like other decks, because we're gonna be always getting value off this. Let's say we have High Spirits or milling it with like a Sheeran. You're always going to be getting value with this card. We always want to mill with the tier limit cards. That gives us value and gives us our normal summon with the Aliber, as well as gives us our spells and trap with Retribution, and where is he? And Albion and Serenir. These cards both facilitate basically spells and traps, and then we have the Tragedy that facilitates our monster. So all our graveyard effects kind of give us something, as well as giving us the tier limit effects as well. This is really good as well because it can play around Dweller. So if they're going to be Dwellering you, usually you'll be able to mill this and then just chain it when they activate Dweller because it's a trap card. So that's nice. All right, and then going next we have Havness. I guess you could say this might be the best one. They're pretty close between that and Sheeran, but 3 of it's a hand trap if it just turns on the rest of the deck, mandatory. 3 Killbacks, hand trap that actually does some things good. And of course, if your opponent is playing the mirror, if they mill you, you're going to be able to hit your own Killbacks to mill even more cards to get even more effects. So that's nice. Same thing for Adigo. We're playing 3 of that, maxing that out as well. It's just really good to get rid of with Sheeran, or getting rid of this, like any of these cards with like one of the fusions and discarding that. So it's pretty nice. So yeah, you can have 6 cards that you can discard off Lubellion, and you can still get your effect. So that's pretty nice. These also as well are targets for the other 2 Ishizu cards and Herald of Orange Light. And they can be discarded off High Spirits, and of course we mill them as well. So these are just really good. So we definitely max out on the really good ones, and just 1 in 1, because DD Crow is very nice, but if you're milling a lot, you're going to be able to see these targets, and a lot of times you don't want to see these cards in your opening hand, but it is still good to have utility of them, and in certain hands it is alright. So we're playing 1-on-1. I like the utility, but I think 1 in 1 I'm pretty happy with. 3 Herald of Orange Light. This card's great with this whole deck. The reason that this fits so well is because all the Ishizu cards are fairies, and the Despias are fairies as well. And these can be discarded off High Spirits, getting rid of Construct, and being able to search whatever we need. So that's very nice. And yeah, these cards can also make rank 4s that we do play, like Dweller. So if you're playing blind, a lot of times you can like normal summon Aliber, search High Spirits, get rid of one of these, any of these. If you get rid of one of the 3 ofs, you're able to mill 5, start your plays. But if you get rid of one of these, you can search out Springen's Kits. And if you have a fallen Albaz in your grave, let's say you milled or something, you can special this, and then help make your rank 4. So there's a lot of ways you can actually make rank 4s in this. Same thing as you have Sheeran. What's really nice, a lot turns 1, you'll have set up your Brennan and Red, Masquerades, and like a Dweller. You won't do Brennan Fusion turn 1 unless they get rid of everything. This is kind of like a last impact card. So let's say you're playing your opponent and they hand trap you a lot. They're going to hand trap your early plays that are like these. Let's say they're going to not let you mill or something like that. Once that happens, then you'll do Brennan Fusion last. As your like last resort, because you'll still get so much value off all of these cards that a lot of times you don't even need to search Brand Fusion, and a lot of times you rather search High Spirits or Branded Red. So that works out really well. So 3 orange Herald of Orange Lights fits pretty well. It kind of just goes with everything, honestly. Get rid of Tragedy, it gives you a lot of value, and it's a hand trap. We played 2 Serenir. This is really good because This is a hand trap, of course, so you can do it in the mirror if they have a monster, as well as sending any other bestial or branded card, so you can send your branded retribution. So this card and Albion both send branded cards. So they kind of facilitate whatever you don't have in the graveyard. You just send the opposite card. So let's say you have a spell or trap, you'll send the spell card. You'll send the trap, or if you have a trap, you'll send one of the spell cards that you want to add back to your hand. So if you mill these, basically it's able to trigger and get you back cards that you want. And this is something you could do turn one, because let's say your opponent mills you out on turn one, then you can send retribution and then just chain retribution. So even if they have duel or something, you can just play around it, which is really nice. Three Magna Hut. Two Magna Hut. I think I'm pretty happy with two. I don't think you need any more or any less. A lot of times this card's better to draw going first, because this facilitates your combo and helps you keep going. But this is also really good because it does give you an additional search, so it kind of gives you that DD Crow consistently. We have two Lubelia. I don't think you definitely think. I definitely don't think you need to be playing three of this, especially in this deck where you mill so much. You're gonna see it, and it's a hard one to return. So I'm pretty comfortable with two. If you want to play three, I think you could definitely play three. We play one Springen's Kit. Card is great because this is another normal summon if we need it to be, but it's mostly for high spirits. This facilitates our rank 4s and basically helps put back cards that are in our graveyard or banished. Let's say like our Retribution. We're able to recycle all Retribution to have up to 3 Retributions per game, and this is a card we will already be playing because it's in Engine and it just fits really well. We have one Blazing Cartesia. I really love this card. I'm not sure if this card is necessary, honestly, but I just really like this card and enjoy it. So you don't have to play this card, I don't think, especially if you are on a budget that is a little bit more expensive. You can honestly go without. But I really like having the option of searching another poly. So, all right, we play one Albion. Just because this card is literally amazing. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. Just send whatever you want, whatever you don't need, or whatever you want to set up your plays, and just draw a card. So that's really nice, as well as the Council Fallen Albas. So if sometimes you'll be able to summon this from your hand, like getting rid of another branded card in your hand, specialist to your board, and you can fuse with like Cartesia or something if you draw it. So that's cute. But for the most part, you're able just to send the branded cards and draw a card, and just filter for free and a searchable off high spirits. It's great. Two Fallen Albas. You could play three. Two has been perfectly fine for me, especially in this version. I think that's fine. One Ablibidin, a Despia, just one. That's not too much to say about that. Good as that is. Just two Alibers. You could play three, but I think the way we search and go through we mill so much, I don't want to see multiple of these in my hand, as well as we search it so much that I feel it's kind of like redundant to play three. So we're just playing two. Three Tragedy. This is a card we always want to mill and see in our opening hand to get rid of. It just gives free value. And obviously in the later game adds us back a branded card. Very good. Three Branded Fusion. Great card. Lets us fuse. Sets up a lot of value. High Spirits, just one because it's very searchable. One branded in red, very searchable. One opening, very searchable as well. Instant Fusion, not very searchable, but it's a great one-up that's just very impactful. Honestly, I'm not sure about Instant Fusion if I need it, but I think playing Instant Fusion just feels very nice, so we're playing Instant Fusion. I feel like a lot of times more than I would probably play it, I would probably mill it, so it may be technically correct to not play it, but I'm not sure. But we're playing Instant Fusion because I love it, so it's in there. One Branded Banishment, Super Poly, really good. One Branded Beast, great card with Lobelion. Basically our out to mine, and then we have our two Retributions that help us recycle any of our cards, especially all our 1-ofs if we need to get them back, so that's very nice. And then we have just like some random cards that we're not playing in our extra deck, but definitely are a good proposition for the future maybe. So we have Despian Proskidian, if I said that right. This card no one really plays, but I just really like this card. This card is really useful sometimes, especially if you're playing like Tiermans and you're able to get rid of like their tier elements in the grave, or like a Rhino Heart that they had and just summon to their board. Sometimes in the mirror too, you can just summon their Mirror Jade and it's very nice, or one of their Albions, and it's really cool. I really like this card, and it's really good for helping with ending games. But I don't think it's necessary, but it's just a cool card. Garuda, you can definitely play this with all the tier elements that we have, and we could play more links as well, like the Cross Sheep if we were playing that. But in this deck, I chose not to. But you can definitely change this deck a little bit if that is what you kind of like leaning towards more of the links and stuff like that. Being able to make Garua and go into a leak summon to draw a card feels really, really nice. So if you want to change the deck style, you can definitely do that. Garua would be a great addition. But for me right now, I'm just liking it without it. And then we're not playing Mud Dragon or Brand Regain, but these are cards to think about in the future. All right, we have two Albion in our extra deck. Pretty happy with two. This deck also shuffles back a lot, so I think two has been perfectly fine. Two Lubellion, this, and then the little DD Crows that shuffle anything back are really good utility tools to basically get back anything that we need. And then we have one Quateris. I think that's just necessary. Sometimes you just need to be able to get rid of cards and just kind of, especially this helps for going for OTKs, but sometimes you just need to be able to get your opponent's monsters to a lower attack, so that's nice. One Construct, we play this for high spirits only. Basically, everything in this deck is fairy, so we're playing Shaddoll for high spirits. One Chimera, you really don't go into this card that much, so if you are on a budget, you could probably play without this, but this is just a good card. It just feels good to have. You honestly only really go into this card with Cartesia, so yeah. But it's still really good because this is really hyper searchable. So if you ever need like a draw block, you can do it. And this is also a quick play. So this play on your opponent's turn feels really, really nice. Yeah, so like two Lubellion, and then we play two Masquerade. A lot of times we want to set up Dial Masquerade with our spells and trap. That's usually the move. We'll set up two Masquerades, spells or traps, and then have like some hand trap follow-ups. So, and then we have Masquerade, of course. We have one Predaplant Dragastapelia, one Kikalaus, and then one Rukalos. Basically, this is also really good because this just negates special summons. Like has like this regular effect. It's really nice, but it's also another target for Branded High Spirit. So we're finally playing a good target in this deck, which feels really, really nice. And then we play two rank 4s. Just Dweller. Dweller's amazing. And then we're playing Time Thief Redoer. But yeah, so these kind of are pretty self-explanatory. Dweller just for the mirror. You always usually want to make this turn 1 blind because you're going to assume they're most likely going to be playing a version of this deck. So that we make Dweller blind. And then Time Thief Redoer. This card is we're only playing this card because sometimes you need to make this card with Shirin to just trigger your fusion. This card's also really good just in certain times. I really like Time Thief Redoer, but for the most part it's just for Shirin. But of course you can make it. Sometimes you'll have like a lot of level 4, so sometimes you go Dweller and Time Thief Redoer, which is cool. But yeah, guys. Anyway, that's the deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any question or anything, please comment down below and follow my Facebook. It'll be in the comments as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great one. Peace.